Okay. All right. So today, obviously, we're talking about building your agent network. This is something that I have focused on from the day I got into real estate. Actually, it was the first event that I went to at Buffini and Company. And I remember Brian highlighted an agent on the big screen and talked about how much referral business that they were doing with the members in the network. And that was the very first event I had gone to. So that would have been probably in 2007. And so I got very intentional at that time with, building an actual network and then creating a database to market to them. So this is something that I love to talk about because a lot of agents don't do this, or they do it and they don't do it very well. So, with the market shift, I will say when COVID happened for me, people were not doing anything here, but then we had the hugest influx ever of people moving into Utah. And that year alone, probably 60% of the business that we did were from out-of-state referrals. So it was a huge blessing for our team to have that at that point. But with the market shifting, it's a great way to just have that additional, I call it mailbox money. Just being really intentional about sharing those referrals on sending and receiving. And Brian just did his bold predictions and talked about why people relocate. I know people don't move to Utah for affordability unless they come from California, but affordability, I've got a lot of clients that are moving back east because it's cheaper to live out there. The prices are a lot less and they can work remotely. Tax rates are better in different states. I think politics is a reason why I've seen a lot of people leave different places like Oregon and California and even come here. Warmer weather, I would even say like recreation. I know a lot of people move to Utah because we have great skiing and just the outdoors that we have here. I know for us, like Park City, for example, 10 years ago, it was a winter destination and now it's just year round. It is always busy and a lot of job transfers. So people are moving every single day and tapping into that is super important for us in our businesses. So at the beginning of each year, I actually sit down and I set a referral goal. I used to just set one on how many referrals I wanted to receive. And then I realized I was missing another opportunity to really teach my own database on the fact that I'm connected nationwide and that I could help them with getting an agent where they're moving to, and then really teaching them that when they hear of somebody moving, that they also need to think of me and call me up to get contact me to connect their friend, family member with another agent, a great agent in a different state. So I set a goal each year. Last year, our team did almost $600,000 in gross commissions from referrals received. So we do a lot of business that way. And again, it's just such a good opportunity. So one of the things that I do at the beginning of the year when I set that referral goal is I look at what am I going to do this year to actually meet these new agents. So I find opportunities to go to events and I will attend them in my state. And then obviously go out of state. And we're all with Buffini and Company. And so we know, they're going to do 7 events this year. So, really looking at where you can go and mapping that out, getting it planned into your schedule for the entire year. You could go to a NAR event, like I'm with Keller Williams. And so they do 2 events a year. They have family reunion and mega camp. So my events are all planned out this year. Hotel rooms are booked, flights are booked. So I know exactly where I'm going to be each month. And then taking your team to events, if you have a team, it's just another really good way to maximize those connections. So I took my team to Denver last year. I try and take them, if they're somewhere close, I can take them and it's easy to take them. I like to take them to an event, but they're doing the same thing. They're setting that goal of, okay, who am I going to meet here? What connections can I make? And then how can we come back and deepen those relationships? So before your arrival to an event, I always set an intention on how many people I want to connect with. And if you run into me at events and know me well, I always ask the question to agents. So when I see like Aaron West, for example, I'm like, how many people are you connecting with? We're not just, coming here just to go through the motions. Like, do you want to meet 30 people? Do you want to meet 20 people? what are you going to do with those people when you meet them? Are you just going to exchange business cards? Or are you going to try and get to know them a little bit like you would a client? And then researching local mixers and activities that you can attend. Talk to your coach too and find out if they know of anything going on. I'll have people, I kind of co-host a lot of things, or I'll throw things myself, but I'll have like people reach out to me and say, do you know of any dinners, lunches, breakfasts, anything happening that you can take me to so I can meet some more people? So really looking into that in advance before you go, and then maybe host an event yourself. Kelly Court is the queen of this. She always has a mixer at every single event. So you can always attend that one, and she gets a huge crowd of people. But there's so many different things that you could do at events to get groups of people together where you're spending extra time. It's hard in breaks when you're at an event to, really get to know anybody very well, especially where we're all trying to do business while we're there too. So doing something outside of the hours of the event is a really great way to do it. Some examples: go on a hike, do, like at Mastermind, we arranged a big pool party that was fun. Do a harbor cruise, do a spa day. Every year at Peak, I do a spa day, and we have about 20 to 25 ladies that come to that. It's really, really fun. So again, just different ideas. There's so many things that you can do. And, if you put it in the White Hats or in the Buffini groups, or I guess on the app, you can get a lot of people that will join you at those. So, and then at the event, obviously we're there to really connect. And I would say to do everything you can to unplug before you go to the event, and have somebody lined up to help you with your emails and help you with, just your business while you're gone, so that when you're there at the breaks and stuff, you don't have to be on your phone or running back to your room to write an offer. Collect as many business cards as you can. I ask every single person, give me your contact, your business card. If they don't have one, I take a picture of their badge, and then I will look them up later so that I can add them into my database. And, ask around again while you're there if anybody's got lunch plans. People are always putting groups together to go get something to eat or grab a drink. So just ask to be included. We're all there for the same reason, I feel like. And so people are usually really gracious to let you join. And then again, get a group together yourself. And I think this is a really good time to not be shy. I think a lot of us wouldn't even know each other if we held back or just went and spent time in our room versus really trying to connect at events. There's some other fun ways. I know, like one of my good friends in Denver, Susie, she takes a picture of everybody she meets, and she goes onto an app. I can't remember what her app is called, but then she will go in and send a card out after the event with a picture of her and that person, just as a great to meet you. So I think that after, the post event is as important as what you're doing at the actual event. So those are some ideas. So once you get home from your event, it's so important that you take all those contacts that you have and you actually put them into your CRM. So I use Referral Maker, and we just use the D as our agent database. And I think I have more agents in my database than I have clients in my database. So, add those business cards with full contact information. If you don't have that, look them up, find it, get them in there. And then you want to make sure, obviously we all know to send everybody a handwritten note, or do something creative, like take a picture at the event and send something out following that. Even send an email or just a phone call, just great to meet you at the event. The important thing with even making these connections is you've got to have a really good system of, obviously staying in front of people. I might go somewhere and I might meet, Tracy, for example, but if Tracy's not staying in front of me, I'm going to forget Tracy and where she's located. And it's easy to do because there's a lot of us that are in the network. And having a monthly marketing plan, I would say that's one of the most important things you can do. So I send out a monthly a newsletter every month to all the agents in my database, and I just add like tips, I think one of them that's going to be coming out I did a webinar on was systemizing your business this year. So I put that into a newsletter and I send that out so that people do read them. I get a really great open rate on them. that people are always, wanting great ideas on different things they can do in their own businesses. That's why we mastermind and get together and do the things that we do. So having a monthly mailer that goes out, again, that's such an easy thing to put together, but a great way to stay in front of people. And then they start to get that recognition of the state that you live in and your face, and they start to see who you are and remember who you are. And then when you see them at events, it's a lot easier to have that conversation with people when you've made those connections and you've stayed in contact with them. And then creating a really good system for referrals sent and referrals received, and tracking that. So when we receive a referral, no matter what it is, even if it never pans out and I can't reach the person, my team, we send out a thank you note, and we include like a gift card to Starbucks or something, thanking them for the referral. And then we track everything. So every referral that comes in, we track them. And then we track what we also send out. So if it's a Starbucks gift card, we track that. We try and not send the same thing out to the same people over and over again. We have some people that send multiple a year. So we're always needing to remember what we're sending them and sending them different things each time. So having that system to track is really important. And then having a system, I don't have this on here, but having a really good system on keeping the referrer updated on the progress that you're making with the person sending a referral. I think that's a really important thing. If I send a referral out to someone, I want updates, and I don't want to have to reach out and ask them like, how are things going? Did you get connected? There's been a few times I've had to do that, or my clients come back to me and said, hey, I haven't even heard from them. So having a system around that, and if you have a team, your admin team can track and do these things for you. I don't write my notes anymore. I don't have a lot of time to do that. So I send each week I send out who I got referrals from to my assistant. She writes them the thank you note. We have the templates put together. She does them on the same day of each week. So she's not just reactively sending notes all the time, and because it takes a lot of time to do that. And then I would also have something put together where you can send them a gift when the referral closes. So we don't just send another gift card out. This year, I can't remember what we're doing, but at the beginning of each year, we also look at, okay, what do we want to gift for each referral that we receive? So we'll mail something out. We've done journals before with nice pens. We've done, the phone chargers with our logo and stuff on it. I brand everything. So it's kind of fun to give a gift. And then if you have anyone who sends you a lot of referrals, like I have a lady out in Boston and she refers, I don't usually get a referral from her directly. She connects me with other agents because she's very connected. She's with Compass, and I probably close 10 to 15 transactions a year from her just connecting me to other agents around the country. So that's another piece. When you start doing a great job for people, they start giving your name out. So a lot of the referrals that we get, I had a lady that called me last month because she was in Brian Arkalian's office and he gave her my name and she called me. So, getting yourself out there and getting your name out there and your face out there and then doing a great job for people, it's just such a good way for people to remember who you are and get those referrals to you when they come through. And then treat your out-of-state agents like they're your clients. So, I really look at each one of you guys as a referral partner to me. And so, I want to make sure you feel special like our clients do. If you all live closer, I would hold events for you and everything, but we can't do that. But I think it's really important about that you take that time to build relationships with people, and the events are a really great way to do that. If you're in my database, you'll most likely get a birthday card. We do our postcards each month. So each of you, if you're in my agent database, you're going to get a newsletter from me and a postcard from me. We do other things like in November, we do a thing called Notvember. And it's a note writing challenge. So for the month of November, each day we send out an email to the agents that sign up for it. So we make it a sign up option. And we send out an email with a writing prompt on who to write a note to and what to say in the note. So we do that through the month of November. And that's a good way. So coming up with different ideas like that on different ways you can also grow your database. I think we've done that for like 4 years now. And every year we usually end up with like 200 to 300 additional people that sign up for it. And a lot of those people, I don't have them in the database. So then I get to put them in the database and start marketing to them as well. So, even if you are not necessarily, meeting people at events, there's so many platforms on Facebook and social media where you can also go in and, if somebody, asks a question like, hey, do you have a job description for an admin, jump in there and comment. And I usually will get on and say, I do, I don't monitor Facebook very well. So if you want it, just send me an email. And I'll get 10 to 15 emails from people. And if they're not in my database again, then I add them to my database. So just really always looking at ways to grow that. And of course, having the marketing system around it is really important, because you can have thousands of agents in there, but if you're doing nothing with it, then it's not going to do you much good. So, I think one thing that I teach about on these classes when we get on here, and, Kat and I with the marketing platform with Be Epic, having your face in your marketing is so important. I know because of the postcard campaigns that I do and how people kind of randomly end up in my database when I go to an event, so many people know who I am. I've never met them, but they know me because they see my face every single month. So it's a very cost-effective way to stay in front of people. I highly recommend, doing something where you can do some type of direct mail, and then having some type of newsletter, even if it's too time intensive for you to do it monthly. Send something out quarterly even, or, enough that, people start getting that face recognition. So, and then I think it's really important that in your marketing message to your own database, that you're teaching them that you are connected. That again is something I haven't been very good at and are very good about doing. And this year and last year, we really got focused on that, and we got that into our marketing message. So I've been able to, collect, to send out a lot of referrals to other agents from it's usually not even a client of mine that's moving. It's their friend or their family member that will call me and say, my sister's moving. Do you know anyone? And, one of the things that I think happens often too, and this happens with me, I have a couple people I'm working with right now, because they found agents on their own and the agents weren't doing a good job for them. So then they went back to their agent friend that they work with locally and ask, can you connect me with someone that works like you? So it's always, if you work this system, it's going to be working for you in the background, but it is very important that you're really teaching your database each month that you are connected, great agents everywhere. When I do buyer appointments and listing appointments, that is a big piece of my my presentations that I do on both of them, is I let them know that I am connected, and that if they are moving, they need to call, or if they know someone that's moving, or they decide to make an out-of-state move, they need to call me. So it's important that you're repeatedly reminding people of that. And then this is a short presentation today, but you just have to be consistent. I am on a lot of agents' email lists, and even when I've seen a lot of agents try and start an agent-to-agent marketing program, and then I will get something 1 month, and then I won't see something again for 3 or 4 months. This is something just like with our clients, that we need to be hitting their inboxes and their mailboxes every single month. And there's just so many different ways that you can do this. So, it's important that if you're going to start something, I always say, don't start something unless you can consistently do it every single month, no matter what. It's like, just like with our own database. So being consistent. So, but really, truly, like the agent to agent referral connections have been a huge, huge piece of my business. I think probably now we do 40% of our business comes from out-of-state agent referrals. And it's been really fun to even just get to know people, do a good job for them. And, then, when you get that referral, it's another opportunity for you to take that client and then duplicate them and multiply them. So, if you live in a state too, where you have good opportunities for investment properties and things like that. Or, one thing here in Utah, it's expensive to buy a home if someone wants to be an investor. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense here because the numbers just don't pan out. You usually have to write a check for the mortgage company every month. So I've connected with a lot of other great agents where when I get a client that wants to do investments, I can refer them out. And again, another opportunity for referral fees. So it's just something you should always have kind of churning in your mind. It's just different ways to generate business. But again, it's mailbox money if you send the referral out, and if you get a great client and then you get to take that client and duplicate them and put them into your database and be the hub for them and, make a big impact, you'll get more referrals that way. So I want to just open this up for any questions that people have for me.
Yeah, there's a couple questions in the chat, so I'll read them off to you, Heather, if you want to answer them.
Okay.
So the first one is regarding events and sort of the networking. So you said at different events that you attend, you will kind of throw these mini events where you'll get agents together on the side for a pool party or a cruise or whatever. So Marianne wants to know, do you pay for it or do you just organize it?
So it depends on the event. So if it's a mixer that you're going to put together, I have done them. I've co-hosted them with Kelly Court, and we do a drink ticket. So you do have to pay. Usually if you're doing a mixer, you're going to be at a bar, and a lot of times they'll block out an area for you and they're going to have a minimum spend that you have to do. So we did one at Teams conference at the pool. And we did have a minimum spend that we had to do on liquor and whatnot. So, you've got to market them and get people there if you're spending money on it. But it's, it's also something that you can get a couple agents together and split the cost of it. The amount of people that you can meet at them, because we all love to go have a drink after the event, right? And it's a fun way to decompress. It's definitely worth the price, but get a couple people together in different states that you might work with really well, and do them all together. So if I do a spa day every year, and that one doesn't cost me anything, because essentially the people pay for, I contact the spa, and then I just work out a package deal where they do a lunch and a drink, and then we do spa treatments. And then people just pay for their own treatments. So that one's I've done that one, I don't even know how many years, a long time. That one's a fun one. I mean, these things do take a lot of work. So be prepared if you do something. Again, you got to market it like it's a client party, right? And you have to coordinate with people and get things lined up. But I love doing things like that. So I'm always thinking of different things that I can do. But, there are a lot of, I would say there's a lot of things you can do without having to pay for it, like getting a group together to go on a hike or go on a run. And then each year, if you go to the same events and the same people are there, you can start coordinating in advance, like, hey, I'm going to be here, let's go on a run at this time. You can get big groups together or walks or things like that. So, and then let's see, how much do I spend on the gift card? So I just do a $5 Starbucks card when the referral comes in. And then I'm going to stop screen share here really quick. I do that when the referral comes in, and then when we close on the transaction, depending on if it's the first referral that we've received for them, it's usually $25, $30 gift that we'll send out. And again, we mail out a gift. It's not a gift card. So, and then if they've sent multiple referrals, then the lady in Boston, I just have to get creative. Every month I have to think of, okay, what can I send her now? And then, for Christmas, we send her a really nice gift for all the referrals that she sent. David Sidoni, I don't know if you guys know him in Orange County, but he does the podcast and he is a referring machine. We just closed 5 transactions last month from David Sidoni alone. So, he's going to get a completely different gift from us. It's hard to keep up with his stuff because he sends so much, but it doesn't have to be expensive. I think it's just the thought. And then making sure you have a system around it. That's the whole key to it, is just doing it consistently. And then tracking. You got to track everything. And then really, I think even before going to an event, just look at the people that have sent you referrals. So if you run into them there, you remember, because I get so many that come in, it's hard for me to actually be like, oh, you sent me this person. But it's just looking at who sent me a referral this past year and trying to be intentional on connecting with them when you get to the event, if they're there, or asking beforehand if they're going to be there. So you can, make it a point to go up and talk to them about the person that sent the referral. So, do I track in Referral Maker? I do. I just put it in the notes in Referral Maker. And then we have a Google Doc where we track every referral that comes in. So I can just pull it up right on the document. So I do it in both places, so that it will live forever in the Referral Maker under the notes section. So if I wanted to look up, let's see, Tracy, like say Tracy sent me 5 referrals, I would see all of them right there. And then if I want to see what we gave as far as gift wise goes, then I can go into the tracking form. And we track it by year as well. So it's important to track.
I have a question, Heather, about your newsletter. So you mentioned doing a newsletter each month specifically to agents. How is that content different than what you send your clients? Like, what is the type of content that you share there?
So it is always like a system or a process, or like example, like how to throw a client party. So I might go step by step on exactly what we do to put the party on. And then I like to do the bonus resources. So it's like, here's a link to, the checklist. And then I'm always open to talking to people if they need to connect with me, to just ask more questions and have me help them put their party together. A lot of times agents haven't thrown them, or they're trying to figure out how to grow them and get more clients to the events. My events they're huge. I think a lot of it, I'm in Utah and I do a family events. So we have events that we have over 1,000 people that will come to them. So, but you've got to market them, right? And it needs to happen months in advance. So that might be an example of a newsletter. The newsletter going out this month is going to be similar to the webinar we did last month on systems and processes to scale your business in 2023. Again, I'll add and include systems that I do and I use in my own business, just to give ideas and suggestions, or just give you the system. So those are some different ideas of what I do on the agent to agent. So it's never about like our market here. I might have a section, there might be, if back when investment properties were, you could cap them here and cash flow them here, I might put something in there on that, but it's typically some type of a system, a process, how to hire an admin, how to write a job description, just different things like that. So, and then somebody asked me what text, it's Punchbowl.
I think, yeah, it's like Punchbowl marketing, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Punchbowl texting, or
It's
Punchbowl marketing.
And it's awesome. It is so inexpensive. Like I think a year subscription to that was $100 or something. You're limited to how many texts you can send a month, but if you do it right, well, actually what I did learn, because we're learning about that, we just started using it last year. But if you like send out 500 text messages and then you're throwing a client party and you need to send an update, you can send an update. So it's not just a new, but they do have a cap of how many people you can send them to. So depending on how many people you've got in your database and how many times you can send it, but it's a really great texting service, super inexpensive. So
I will look up the link and send it to you, Leah.
Anybody have any other questions? I know
Someone asked if you set up your agents as Ds in Referral Maker. I think Cheryl joined a little later. So yes, Heather did say that she puts her agents as Ds in Referral Maker when she's marketing to them, or when she's adding them to her CRM.
Yeah. And I literally, you guys, I had everyone, like every opportunity I have to put someone in my database, they will be in my database. That's why, looking for different ways to connect with people, social media is such a good way to do it. Just if you go into any of the Buffini Company sites, people are always asking questions. Comment and say, I can help you with this. If you have a system or a great pop by, or put stuff in there yourself, like, hey, I have, look at this cool pop by I did, hit me up if you want additional pop by ideas. And then you might get 30 people that comment, and there's 30 people that you get to connect with right there. So, you should always be looking at different ways. If you're not going to go to many events and meet people face to face, it's just a good way. So with I'm not just going to go in and like download 20,000 agents and throw them in my database, right? Like I want to offer something of value and then put them in because I've already gained credibility, right? So like you could do that, you know, you can just go in and download lists, but I think there's so many other ways where you can actually connect. I don't know about you guys, but like this past, like last year, I think because the market was slowing, I was just getting all these canned emails from agents, like, and I don't, you know, a lot of them was just, I think Keller Williams, they, you know, they just get your contact information and they email you. To me, I mean, that's great. You can do that. And that's a good way to connect, but it's not going to build a relation. I don't know who these agents are. I don't know how they work. I want to work with people who work like I work. And I want to send my people to people that I know work like me. So, you know, so if you're not in my agent to agent newsletter, let me know and I'll add you. I think most of the people I'm recognizing names, so I think you are, but if you're not and you want to be, just send me your information and I'll start harassing you. Then you can see what I do. It's good. I mean, it's just rip it off. Just do what I do and create your own version of it and send it out. Just stay in front of people is the goal. That's how I know all you. Right, Rob?
I put a link in the chat to where the punch bowl texting. So it looks like you could do like online invitations via email or text. On the topic of, because I have another question for you, Heather. So like increasing you said over the last like year, you've really tried to increase the communication to your existing database about reaching out to you if they know someone who's moving or if they're relocating. So what are some ways, I think you mentioned in your buyer seller presentation, you've included like a section on that, but what are some other ways that you have really upped that messaging or included that messaging in some of your marketing? Because I know a lot of my clients are trying to do that this year. They really want people to reach out to them before they start planning a move, so that they can capture that, you know, commission if they are referring the business out.
I think first, like in every newsletter you send out to your database, you should have something in there that just states you're connected. On my presentation, you saw my little map where we're all on top of it and it says we're connected coast to coast. So we, last year, we did an actual postcard to our whole database that was our postcard essentially, with that message. And we'll do that again this year. So you could do a direct mail postcard. That would be something, honestly, Kat and Be Epic, we should probably do one of the months, is that we're connected coast to coast. Put it into your newsletters, get on social media. If you're ever with agents anywhere, I know like Janice Burtis from Colorado, she came into town and she and I did some videos together. And one of the videos is, hey, we are connected. She's from Colorado, I'm from Utah. We know people everywhere. So those are other opportunities. Do that even at an event. When you go to say, let's film a quick video on, you know, we're at an event together. We know hundreds of agents or thousands of agents, if you know anyone. So that's another good idea. You can do that, put it in your social media feeds. And then if you do any client parties where you get to talk at all at the events, like we do a Valentine event every year, we do a dinner night. And so last year, Susie Pendergraph from Denver was actually in town for soccer at the event. And so she came to my party and then I called her up and I told the 200 people that were there that this was my friend from Denver and I know agents nationwide and I'm great friends with them. They're not just people I'm plucking a name, like these are people I have actual real relationships with and I can connect you. So if you're moving or anyone's moving, please call. So just, you know, you've always just got to be thinking of like, how can I get this message out there? In what marketing piece can I get it out there? So your marketing brains kind of got to always be on when it comes to that. But using client parties is a really good opportunity to do that as well, if you do any. So that help a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's coming up for me is just always being intentional about the types of communication that you're putting out there and looking for opportunities to really weave into your messaging the fact that you're connected in a very like authentic and natural way. And I've also seen you do that, I think, one-on-one with clients, like at events. I've heard you talking to your clients and, you know, maybe they're thinking about buying an investment property and you've kind of weave into the conversation that, you know, people in these different markets, you'd love to connect them. And so just really always having that top of mind. And then also, like you said, taking advantage of opportunities at events to pull someone aside who's an agent friend and do a quick video and share it on social media. and not just kind of letting those moments pass you by without maximizing them. So
well, another thing you can do, so I just had a client that she bought an investment property in Arkansas, and I'm going to take her, it's her first investment property, and she's like thrilled beyond thrilled. And I'm going to take her to dinner next weekend, and I'm going to have her do a little video with me and talk about you know, how excited she is to do that and how I got her connected with a great agent. She had a house under contract within a week, and she's going to cash flow it. And so just different, again, things like that. Have people film their own video testimonial, you know, if it's, hey, Heather referred me to the best agent, I just moved to DC, or, you know, people that are moving here, when you get a referral, like capture that as well. And make sure they're following up with the referring agent as well and saying that, you know, you did a great job for them. So I think it's just always looking at those opportunities where you can speckle it out there. And then if you do have, if you're in an area where, like for me, again, like I said, in Salt Lake, I have a lot of people that have money they want to invest, and it just doesn't, the numbers don't make sense here. And so I'm getting ready to host just like a Q&A on investments, where I'm going to bring all my clients together that have cash and they want to, you know, they want to buy something. I'm going to bring them together and figure out what their budgets are, what their goals are around investing. And then I'm going to get them sent out to agents in the states that kind of match up where their needs are. So, you know, again, I don't know where a lot of you are from. I see some California people there, so probably doesn't make a lot of sense to buy investment properties there. I don't know. But, you know, I know if you go to Birmingham or Kansas City or Arkansas, you know, Indiana, different states like that, you can get a lot more for your money than you can here. So, so that's another way to get those referral fees. And, you know, there are some agents out there that will pay, and they can pay even a full commission if you refer somebody to them in their state. So, find those, because, you know, for me, that's on an investment, obviously, but, you know, for me, that's a really good way for me to, again, make additional income. And I'm not doing much, and other than, you know, helping people meet their financial goals as well, which I love. Investments are something I'm really passionate about. I own a lot of investment properties myself. I think it's a very good place to park your money. If you don't do that, you should be doing that. So if you're not buying investment properties, you should probably call me and I'll get on my soapbox with that, but you should be.
I would also love to hear so you mentioned David Sidoni is a big referrer for you. You also have a gal in Boston that works with Compass, who not only refers you, but sends your name to other agents who might have someone relocating to Utah. So where did you meet these big refers? Like, what are some stories of like how you made the connection and how you took it from like a cold, just like introduction into someone who refers you, you know, 10 closed deals a year?
Well, David Sidoni, I've been connected with him for many, many years. I think he's been in Buffini probably longer, possibly longer than me. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He has a podcast. It's called How to Buy. Let me tell you what it is exactly, so you can look this guy up. And if you're not connected to him, you should reach out to him, because he is, he has a podcast for first-time home buyers, essentially. And what he does is, sorry, I'm going to look this up. This will be like your golden nugget from today's call if you're not connected to David Sidoni, because he is a referring fool. It's called How to Buy a Home podcast. So this is kind of what it.
I put it in the chat. I put a link in the chat if you guys want to see it.
So he has a home for first time, or he has a podcast. He's got like, it looks like 151 episodes in here, but he basically gives people like, don't do this, do this, make sure you do this. It's all tips and tricks on how to buy your first home. And he really, really, really promotes his nationwide connections. And so right now, I think he just did a webinar like a week ago. He has like 405 people connected to agents all around the country. So I believe last year he closed 211 transactions where he received a referral fee. It's insane. It's amazing. So anyways, I connected with him a long time ago, and I got a referral from him when he started this process, and I just did a really great job for him. So I probably almost once a week, it's like, I found you a unicorn is what he says. And he sends my information. He connects me and the potential client, us together. He has them fill out this huge questionnaire. It's really quite brilliant. Like, it's amazing. So connect with him if you haven't. The lady from Boston, randomly, I have no idea how she ever got my name. I don't know. I don't know if like I got hers somewhere and put her in my marketing stuff, but so that's not a very good story, but like literally, I don't know how she ever found me, but a couple of years ago, she sent me a referral. Again, I just did a really good job and she's very connected and we didn't have a compass here. And so through there, I gotta take a drink of water, I'm gonna choke. So she's got like an agent platform and she just like, hey, Heather, I just saw this in there, and she would just she knows how to connect too. So she would connect us via text and whatnot. So I close a lot every single year that come from her, and they're great price points too. I just closed some people that came from DC. I need to like fly out and meet her someday because I've never met her. So, but I would say with everyone else, really, a lot of it is just, you got to get yourself out there so people know who you are and they see your face. Like, a lot of you, if you didn't have your camera on, I would know your name, but that doesn't mean if I saw you in an event, I would know your face. So I think that's the most important thing is, like, if you guys, again, you're in my database, you get my postcards every month. So you can't not know who I am. If you see me, you're going to be like, oh, that's Heather Roxburgh from Utah. All of my postcards to out-of-state agents. So we send the same ones to our clients that we do agents. I just will tweak the message to make it agent focused versus client focused. So like the one that we did, Connected Coast to Coast, obviously to the clients that talked about that we are, we're connected coast to coast, and I can connect you with an agent anywhere if you make a move or anyone else does. And then to agents, it's, I want to be your Utah connection. I want to be your go-to girl in Utah. If you know anybody moving here, please connect me to them. We'll take the same great care of them as, as you would to, your own clients. So the message changes a little bit, but again, it's just getting your face in there and providing value to people. I know I've seen agents do different things that also do this very well, where they might offer to do a webinar like this. Like, hey, if you need to grow your real estate team, we have 15 people on our team and we've got the systems and processes to help you sign up for a webinar. So they'll host a webinar. So, you just got to be, again, it's providing value so that people trust you, just like your clients do. So answer your question.
You gave me a good idea of like with the Be Epic postcards to do a back version for agents, and so like have a client option and then a back version for the agents. So I think I'm going to add that to my list of things to do.
Add that. I mean, it's simple because you're already doing it, right? Like, I'm already sending out a postcard. Why would I not send that out to agents? It makes it, and again, I'm all about mailboxes. I prefer that over email all day long, and I don't really like, aside from getting stuff for Christmas and things like that, holiday cards, I don't really get postcards from agents. There's very few agents that do it. So, I would say like that would be, for the agent success that I've had, that's probably my secret sauce the most is, people like them because they're fun and funny. A lot of you guys are members. And so, you're going to start to see the value in that as you continue to do it, and having the agent piece of it's just been hugely valuable for me. Because again, I go places and people know my name and I've never met them. And then they say, oh, I'm so-and-so. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard your name, but I've never met you in person. I wouldn't have that interaction if they didn't know who I was. So getting your face out there is, I can't say enough about it in everything you do.
Peggy wants to know, who do you use to send out your postcards and what is the cost?
Well, for Be Epic, we use Vistaprint. And Kat, how much is it a postcard about?
I would have to look, but it's like, I think it's like $100 to send out like 150 or something like that. But
I use a different company for mine, and I've been using them for many, many years. And the only reason I use them, this is amazing. We might want to look at the cost of it, Kat. I don't know, but I get every single month when I send out my postcards, they send me back a report that tells me everyone that's moved. I get their forwarding addresses. It will tell me people that like their mail doesn't forward. So I get a report. So I can look up if I see a client's name and I'm like, they moved and didn't call me. I can actually look it up and be like, okay, they just literally sold their house and bought another house and they used another agent. And I can decide if I'm going to delete them or keep them in my database. So I like having that because it helps me scrub my database and keep it clean too. And then it's also a really good, like, why did that happen? I wonder, right? So then you have to ask yourself, like, am I not keeping in contact with these people enough? So that's why I use a different platform that I do, which I feel like it might be a little less expensive than Vistaprint. So we can look.
What is it called? What is it called?
I have to ask Kaylee. I don't know. I'll find out though. She's my marketing coordinator. I don't do that part of it. That's her job. But I come up with the ideas and she sends it, she executes. So, but Kaylee, I can get that over to you. And they go out, just so you know, Kat, like if I submit it, they're out like the next day. So
it might be a local company.
It is local, but they do stuff all over. So
I'll add that to like a follow-up item. But so with your postcards though, you send a lot. So do you know like what the cost is? Like what is like the average cost per month in postcard mailing?
So I'm about $1,500 a month on mine. But I'm sending thousands. So I want to say that like I'm 4,000 to 5,000 a month that I'm sending. I'm at least 4,000 that I send out. I'd have to look at the exact number. And I don't know if you've all been on different webinars that we've done. I know some of you have, but I co-market with a lender too. And so he pays, I put his contact information and logo on the back of my postcards along with mine, and he pays for 50% of the cost. So if you have a preferred lender and you're sending a lot of business to them, then I would be co-marketing with them. That is just like a no-brainer. It cuts the cost down for you guys and you can send out a whole lot more. And if your preferred lender won't do it, somebody will. So go find a new lender. Because I co-market with my lender on client parties, on our pop buys. So they pay for a lot of the marketing materials that we do that are hard costs. But we're giving them pretty much essentially all of our business and they get a lot from it. So that's a whole nother piece, like working with your vendors if you're doing parties and things like that, where you can get them to sponsor different things. I think we talked a lot about that during client party webinar that we did. So
yeah. And I know another thing that you do too, because I think some of the challenge too with some of my clients has been like getting vendors to be engaged and to be all in and things like that. And so I know you do like a happy hour every month with and invite your preferred vendors and things like that.
We do.
Okay. So if you have any tips on like how to kind of get people to be bought in and like participate, I think that'd be interesting.
Well, one of the things is just simply like so my daughter is my insurance agent. She owns an American Family Insurance company, and I send her every client that we close, every buyer we close, we send their contact information to her. Their team reaches out, and they probably have a 99% success ratio of getting them to, go through them for homeowners, and then they bundle, right? So I just had a conversation with her, like, if you're going to be my preferred person and we're going to send your information out to every single client that we have, then I expect that you're going to sponsor different things throughout the year for our events. I know some agents will have like a specific amount. Like my home inspector every year just writes me a check and says, this is for the whole year. Here's a couple grand. Go do whatever you want with it for all the client parties, because we send all of our inspections to him. We do it with our home warranty company, the insurance company, our lender. Our title company can't really do anything because they're regulated here. But anybody that you use a lot, if you have a contractor that you send a lot of business to, even if it's $100 at an event, or you just say, You know, hey, would you sponsor the donuts or sponsor the hot chocolate station or pay for the face painter? You know, just different ways to offset the cost of your events. And we do an event where we do a raffle and we raffle off like gift baskets and stuff. So like we hit up everybody that we work with, our like a lot of our local businesses, and so we're not having to pay for all of those things. So a lot of it's just asking. People don't like to ask, but I think again, if you know, if you're reciprocating, especially with a lender, because a lot of times lenders don't have a lot of referrals to give to you, and that's a great way for them to give back when you're sending them a whole lot of business. So you'd be surprised at what people are willing to do. And then if they're bigger companies, a lot of times, like a home warranty company, for example, the company is going to be paying for that. It's not coming out of the agent's pocket. You know, it'll be a company thing. So ask. Don't be afraid to ask.
We have another question here. So Sue wants to know, with agents changing offices so frequently in the last few months and year, how do you keep updated on agents' addresses? Do you ever get their home address, or are you sending things to their business?
I prefer to get home addresses from agents if I can. A lot of times, like I said, we get those, well, on the agents, we really don't get a move report because it'll just go to the company regardless of whether they move. But usually what actually ends up happening with agents is I see them somewhere and they said, I don't get your postcards anymore. And I'm like, well, have you moved? Yeah, I moved. You should probably update me with and give me your address. But like a lot of times too, at the beginning of the year, we'll send an email out and say, hey, have you moved? Are there any changes? We actually need to do that now because so many people have made a move in this past year. But usually it's somebody's reaching out to me and saying, I don't get your postcards anymore. Will you check and see why? So that's typically what happens. So it's kind of hard to manage that if agents aren't good about saying, hey, I made a move and here's my new address. Or if I see something on social where like Deanna Bone she just got a different company, went to a different company. So I reached out and said, do I need to update addresses or is it just your company name? So I'll be proactive if I see things like that as well. So, and then I think Peggy asked if I do pop-bys at conferences. I don't. I tried to in the past, but I'm just really horrible about giving them out. So I stopped doing that, but I think pop-bys are great. So I would say absolutely put them together if you like being a pop-by person. It's kind of not my thing, but I think agents, I think it's great for you to do that. Especially if it's something people are going to use after the fact. Like I brought up Susie Pendergraph a lot, but she's really good about like spatulas, and I have the stuff in my house I use in my kitchen came from Susie. So I gotta think about her every time I pull out her spatula, but I think if it's useful, right? And then I would just say brand everything. I have a really great promo guy. Everything we do is branded. Every closing gift is branded. There is nothing that I give out, honestly, that does not have my logo on it. And I think there's really great gifts that you can do that aren't like intrusive with your logo, but like, I mean, even stationary stuff. Like I know in my drawer, like half of like all of my Post-its came from all you guys. Like I have so much branded stuff. I mean, people keep those things like my letter openers, or that's probably, I need to do that as pop-by. It's one of my favorite things, like letter openers, but yeah, I need to make those.
Who is your promo guy? And is he like nationwide or just local?
He's local here, but he is nationwide. So he does all of Susie's stuff. He does a lot of Buffini people stuff. So his company is called, actually, I can pop that into the link. He does a really great job. And he used to be a realtor. So he used to be on my team. So he just didn't love real estate and he likes doing promo. So, but essentially like he can get you stuff anywhere and they have great prices. His name's Colin Wilkinson. So I'll just put his name in there. Highly recommend him. So.
Any final questions? before we jump off? I think we got to all of the ones that were in the chat.
I think so too. Hopefully this helps. Just remember, you guys, like, go back through all your old cards if you have cards. Get your teenager, get somebody, have somebody add them into the database, make a goal to add so many a week, whatever you've got to do to put them in there. I mean, I know you guys probably have stacks and stacks of cards, right? Get them into a database, put together a marketing plan and start marketing them. Again, like, it's mailbox money, right? Once again, but even the referrals that you get to receive and these great people that you get to work with when they come to you, then you get to take those clients and duplicate them. It's just another great way to build your business and make more money.
Yeah. And a couple people have mentioned Monterey, going to Monterey. We are not going to Monterey, but we are going to Nashville. So if any of you guys are going to be in Nashville in March, we would love to see you.
I want to go to Monterey, but they took away our direct flights and it was like so ridiculous to get there that like I might as well drive. So I don't know why they did that. They used to have a direct flight to Monterey, but I'm kind of bummed.
Yeah, it's expensive to fly there, and also you have to still drive like a long ways.
Yeah, exactly. I just went to Cabo for 2 weeks, so I'm like, I can't do both. So,
but we'll be in Nashville, so if any of you guys will be there, we'd love to see you. Sue did ask one final question. Do you have a card app that you use? I'm guessing she means to like organize business cards or like scan them and add it to your database. Is that what you're asking?
Or are you meaning like, do I have an app where I let somebody's QR code? I don't use a card app. I need to. I need to. But I will say this, like, I honestly, even if somebody says, here, I don't have business cards, but like, take my information. Okay, cool. Well, now you're just in my 10,000 contacts. I like, you guys, even if you have a card app, take cards, give cards, collect cards, like, because you'll just lose people in the shuffle of your contacts. So that's why I don't have one, because I'm like keeping it old fashioned, doing the business card thing. So.
Well,
But
then
yes,
you're kind of
really-
like forced to add it to your database too, versus like if you, like you said, if you just have it in your contacts, you're like, okay, cool, I have their contact. And then it's like, it just sits in your contact, but you don't do anything with it.
Exactly.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, we made it to noon. So we will let you guys all go back to working.
Your Mondays. Your
Monday.
weeks.
Yeah. Thanks for showing up on a Monday.
Thank you.
Have a good week, y'all. Hope to see you somewhere soon. Nashville.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. Have a great week.